Good morning to our lovely viewers. We're happy to have you. As we all know, from 9 to 10, we're always having your show, The Scorecard. And today we are going to be having very interesting discussions. We welcome you from the Wide Awake discussion that happens in the morning with Mr. Alex and Miss Birungi Stella. We also want to remind you that children are home, get some time, talk to them, and be with them. A lot of things are happening in the country, but the discussion today we're going to be having is the government's policy in monitoring and assessing its projects. You know, one of the things that have been going on, because very many things are going on, is government's accessibility of what projects they're doing, how business is running. Yesterday I was here and I was accrediting or giving credit to the Speaker of Parliament and the Deputy Speaker on how committees are now doing their work and how the work is moving. We saw COSASA is doing, especially when it comes to opposition committees, they are now getting funding and they're actually doing the monitoring work they're supposed to do. For example, the Committee on Government Assurance, interestingly, it is doing business. It is now out in the field, as back then it was when it was headed by Honorable Namboze and then also headed by Honorable Joyce Bagala. There was no work that was being done. But now it is headed by Honorable Zake and deputized by Honorable Adeke. And they are doing some work. We saw COSASA is doing work, local government park for Honorable Namboze now is doing some work. We saw Mwanda Nkunyinji for COSASA doing some work. We saw the one of Committee on the Fiscal Infrastructure. So committees are doing work, the oversight is going on, and a lot of things are being unveiled and a lot of things are being done. Even the Committee for Legal Affairs, we have seen it also doing some work. Now, let's get to the conversation. We are with Dr. Joseph Tindiabwa. He's a senior lecturer when it comes to public administration and also a consultant when it comes to those matters. And he is a man when it comes to policy we can have a discussion with. Doctor, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Mr. Kelvin. Happy to be with you again.
Yes.
And together with the dear viewers, fellow countrymen and women, we thank God for the gift of the new day, and we continue to deliberate on this matter for a progressive social and economic life.
When we're looking at public policy or government policy, we are diversifying the issues that are going on in the country. And here especially we're looking at the issues of corruption, service delivery and all that. Government has now adopted a policy in monitoring and assessing that has seemed very radical. When you look at the Balaam effect that is taking on Ministry of Works now, it is taking on Ministry of Health, and it has also taken over Ministry of Local Government initially. When we look at this policy, is it a policy that government should be looking at in a way of assessing the service delivery and the government activities that they have been doing?
Okay, I thank you. And as we look into this subject matter of project policies, it wouldn't be as if it's like a new adoption. Initially, it should be how the government should operate. Because when we look at the taxpayers' money, which and also other loans, which always are paid back by the taxpayers, it's supposed to be doing work, and there are institutions of government in place that are assigned to do so, as you've clearly articulated. But for some time, we seem not to have got the right results, what we call for easy explanation, efficiency. There have been a lack of efficiency in utilization of government funds, especially which are targeted to implement programs and projects aiming to uplift this country. We would like to say, personally, I would like to say that even when we are talking about a country projecting it to be a 500 billion USA dollar per GDP or per capita income, this would have been realized for some many good years ago. But the system, especially the operational system, which has been affected by the challenge of poor monitoring, which we've talked about, and coupled with other challenges like corruption. And the corruption, when we talk about it, is not maybe the sectarian corruption or tribalistic corruption. And it's not only that so and so has stolen this money. It goes on how procedures are manipulated for selfish interest, and what is expected to be done is not done for purpose of cover-up. In your preamble, you've stated of how committees are active, but I don't think, I was asking myself as you were explaining to the public, the measure of being active, the measure of being active if we were to assess at what percentage, because you seem to have overcredited them, and I didn't blame you, because why I had to reserve myself, you're not mentioning percentages.
Yes.
And of which now I come on board to say I think they have not yet done much. If you look at this awakening, which from the executive side, because I do believe if everyone in this country, from the citizen to the three arms of government, were doing what we are supposed to do, would not have taken many years, still crawling and saying let's be middle income economy, first economy, and the wake up call of the president, which I seem to credit, that no more sleep. I think indeed. Whereas we have had some achievements that we've made, but they have been oversleeping on the job of everyone. I'm not blaming anyone. There is the executive, there is the judiciary, there is the parliament, and we, the citizens. Because including the citizens, we are supposed to be whistleblowers in ensuring that projects are being implemented the way they should be. These days they opened up a forum for that. Whistleblower law, it is there. But few citizens have woke up to do what? To do what they expected to do. You pass via this, I will talk about the infrastructure. Yes. The infrastructure committee, what are they doing? Infrastructure.
They are looking at the issues of roads, they're looking at the construction.
So now, that's why we come on board and say, the good thing on parliament side, we have the speaker, we have the chief whip of parties, and also in government, we have the prime minister. There's a time when the prime minister had woken up and she was very active and moving here and there in her dramatic moves. As you remember, the right honorable Nabanja, some people she inspires them, others they say either this is maybe whatever kind of work that she does. But I'm talking of how we can see awakening everywhere. We don't see two committees are visible. We see them running over the country. And as you stated it initially, these committees are not supposed to be boardroom committees. Yes. They're supposed to be there and do not only to assess reports. The oversight work, as you've asked me about policy, is supposed to involve much more of field visits. And when we talk about infrastructure, even before the likes of Honorable Balam comes on, we should see the Committee for Infrastructure and the urban development already everywhere. At least monthly, we see what they have discovered that they are working on. Yes. And another thing is that what I would like to reveal to the viewers, and again make also an appealing call to those who are in the government, we would wish to see, we in the line of policy analysis, to see action-oriented monitoring. Because when you monitor, there are results. Yes. And when these results are not put into implementation, it is a loss to this TV which is talking about this. It is a loss to the government. Because you can monitor and come up with what we call, of course, monitoring goes with feedback in matters of project. Besides being a person of policy, I'm also a qualified person in matters of project planning and management. So the moment there is no feedback, then it discredits the role of monitoring. And the feedback should be action-oriented, so that either some policies are designed afresh. Policies is not only when we have something overrunning for a long period of time. There are some immediate actions that the government can undertake immediately to solve an existing challenge, especially in these matters of policies and programs. So we looked at the Minister of Health doing the kind of either visits. Where is now the Committee of Health? Yes. Because that is executive, and where we want this time around, as we are a developing country and we are evolving, to look at institutions doing what they are supposed to do. Because the Committee for Health, before we look at the Minister of Health coming in for matters like of interns and other issues which are deep there at the level of health center 4 and hospitals, these committees, at least they should have designed a program where they have said, Right Honorable Speaker, or within their committee, we went for a visit. This is what we assessed on the ground, and this is what we are telling the government should do. So we've not had such kind of appeal from the Health Committee of Parliament. We can go to agriculture. You cannot tell me that agriculture are doing well. Before we make this news going to Jazeera, these networks, international media, talking about Karamoja. Where is the minister, the committee for agriculture and other committees which are in charge for disaster, some which are under the president's office? They should have already assessed. We should see quick work being done. This is a country, it's not a whole Africa continent. It is very easy to program and know that, and above all, identify the challenges that are being affected, are being faced under all these sectors. So it's an awakening call. I'm not just here for making good speech, yes, but to make an appealing call to all these committees. Not only to caucus is not the only committee that we have. Every other time when we see, it's about these committees, and they're dealing with issues of money, but there are issues which are affecting the common person. You're talking about social development, social labor, and development, which is dealing with workers. Where have we seen these committees meeting workers and assessing the situation? I am a unionist. I come from, I'm a vice chairperson of the University Professional Academic Staff Union. So since we began this term of office, together, be it the minister, I appreciate Honorable General Katumba Wamala. Recently was able to convene a meeting all public-based trade unions, okay, of which ours is part of it, recognized. And he was able to interact with us and know the challenges. Equally, we should not only see, so let the executive do their work as they do their monitoring visit. Let the parliament, which does an oversight work, be active on ground and not only dealing with the reports. And the reports should be result-oriented. We don't only hear about so and so has been maybe arrested, or there is a problem here, and the Ugandans, they don't see what became the feedback. It's like this issue of which happened here and was causing alarm everywhere about the speaker. And at the end of the day, those who are friends, those who are enemies, they're asking what is the reality of the matter. Because there are those who might have been friends, there are those who are enemies. You can never be loved by anybody. But at the end of the day, in matters of public administration, we should always aim at transparency and accountability. I one time said, and I made it as a task, if it is not only playing politics, why should we hear about, because as we talk about these committees, it's across board what was happening, the running of the country. And we don't hear what exactly happened. We hear that there's some staff of parliament who were receiving money that they knew that's illegal, who was giving them the money. There is no question that we have seen. So please, we like not now to play politics. Let us have a patriotic spirit. When we do something, we mean it. And let us do a corporate responsibility. I have awakened the citizens, the civil society, these committees of parliament, which is under the arm of the legislature, to do work that is result-oriented to give us results.
When we're discussing the issue of making sure that the committees are doing their work, there is the issue of accessibility. Normally, the reports that were given to these committees of parliament, they come from either civil society organizations or government entities, departments and agencies. Now, when we look at the issue of accessibility of the ordinary Ugandan, because you're giving a part where the ordinary Ugandan should be also involved in the issue of policy and monitoring, the accessibility of these the committees of parliament that are doing the oversight work, how should they be more accessible to the ordinary Ugandan rather than only waiting for reports from ministers, from departments and agencies of government?
Yeah, what I can say is that accessibility starts at a level of representation, because I believe, apart from maybe those who may not do wanting to do the job, which I don't think it can be the case, you are a member of parliament and you are a citizen. You sit down with someone, even if you don't know how to write very well. Some of us, we are here freely, we can help you give consultants work. And we come and make a petition. And you tender it through your member of parliament. And you can also tender it directly. And these days we are in the era of AI and so forth, basically using internet, where you can even just directly email to the office of the speaker with evidence-based issues, which is talking about the matter. That accessibility is open in all ways. And even what I'm assured of is that even at parliament, you can easily directly submit your report. We have, for the case of president's office or the executive, the lineup is clear, beginning from security forces, which does intelligence. You cannot avail information which is relevant and you take the DSO, the RDC, and they keep it under. And then the fourth estate. Yeah, like how I'm here already, I'm doing the work, I'm already accessing them. Whatsoever, they must be able, they have also an intelligence network, I'm very sure. Whatever, all over these television houses, they know what has been discussed by Dream this morning. And this is on record, unless if the intelligence is intending to deny the government the information. So the way to access these offices is there. And at a certain point, when there seems to be silence, still when you have evidence over some of these matters, you are passing via Kampala and other cities all over, all towns, and you find that there was allocation of funds to install city lights, and you don't find these street lights on, and yet money was allocated. Why not petition? And if a certain institution or individual is not doing work, we talk the good thing, you're a lawyer, we deal with what we call public interest matter. Matters people, they fear the cost, but there's when we have people who offer pro bono, and they can say, let's take it up as a public interest matter. We sue so and so, or this office, because of negligence, unable to follow up this work. Cause alarm. We need to have a civic, educated society of which we bring awareness and empowerment through this good program that you bring for the nation, that everyone must take responsibility. And when it is done, my current stand is that it should not be looked as if it is a playing politics of opposition. Yes. Because people here, because we are a developing country, when you seem to be bringing objective submissions, some people say this is opposition. It is out of 100%, you find that like 70%, they begin to align alongside that, which is a bad principle against good governance, because we must every other time ensure that we are a country which is built on a foundation, not based on being partisan, sectarian, and otherwise. And above all, the Constitution continues to call for us to play that duty. So if we approach this kind of operation, or the way how the linkage between the citizenry and then those who are in government, to do it not being compromised by politics of multi-party politics, opposition, I think we can be a better country. And I believe Ugandans still believe in that. Only there are those who are spoiling the game, which would have wanted. They see when now Mr. Kelvin come and talk over this matter, they say, this one is nope, this one is yellow, this one is red. So I appeal Ugandans, let us love our country, and we approach these matters with all our hands. It is taking too long. Even those who are saying 500 US, I'm still doubting them, because they have not yet done much which is matching with the task. But we can do it if we decide.
Let's talk about the issue of decentralization of power, and when it comes to policy and public administration, the issue of making sure that you have decentralized areas where we can have avenues that can solve people's matters is important. We have a local government, we have, as you've talked about, some of the offices that are used for accessibilities, RDCs, PISO, DISO, and you have ministers, you have MPs. Now, most of the issues we're facing in public accountability was the overshadowing of the executive to the oversight roles of the organizations that have been set, for example, IGG, DPP, and all that. So my question would be, now that the executive has taken the upper hand in making sure that the oversight role is being done, will the oversight organizations like the IGG, DPP, and Auditor General, and maybe the RDCs, such officers that are closer to the people, will they do their work better since the executive has taken interest in what is going on with the people?
So the final overseer, the overseership, as I've said, it's a corporate responsibility. We should not only see these courts only coming in when you take them cases. They should be part of the sensitization drive, showing a possibility of how the citizens can be helped in matters which leaves some questions, which are not solved. Because right now, we would want, like I talked about a point and I want to say it again, it would be very ideal, a person in the caliber of a speaker to just all of a sudden disappear in the oblivion.
Yes.
And there is no explanation either given by the head of state what is happening. The IGG, when they took the report, they are quiet. It becomes a whole corrupted system. Because we should not say corruption when maybe money is exchanged and when I pass by and I give you money. It becomes a sign of a corrupted system. The same way how president can make a speech on Ebola. And the way, the circumstance surrounding how the speaker, the invasion and all that, the check and the president is quiet. Me, I am advising the president, now that you said access is here, it is not good. At least should make a statement what is happening this. And the IGG, which you talked about, is quiet. But the IGG, of course, who appoints the IGG is the president. So if the president gives instruction how to deal with the matter, the IGG keeps low because there is a top voice. So we are seeking for honest and objectivity in approaching public matters if Uganda is to develop and we come out from these problems. Because on the way, there will always remain unanswered question which can affect another 10 years generation, 20 years generation. When this and this happened, Temangalo, what happened? You heard of that. Yes. It was coming in this. But there are issues under agriculture. Let me talk about that. Leaving the direct line of governance. Agriculture, that's all of us where we get the food. It is where all of us we can enjoy when things are going on. We're here, you go to a Wino market and you are not having a challenge to buy a kilo of tomatoes and so forth. You are not first waiting for Kenya to bring these mangoes. Why are we transporting? It's okay, it's a cross-border trade, but why is it that now we are having more mangoes from Kenya? Yes. And the apples and so forth, more other agricultural products. Why? What is the problem with our rice? Why can't you have the best rice so that we are able to feed Africa, as we say that Uganda is the basket of Africa? What is the Minister of Agriculture doing? Why are we not hearing a campaign, a policy-driven campaign that is based on Maputo Declaration, which was the first one of 2006, which is saying, government look here. You have always talked about cross-cutting issues, but would like a concentration of where we support agriculture entirely. Not this diversion of saying skills, myoga, no. I've had debate with some policymakers, they say, you see, the 15% allocation, and it is also the 10% allocation for health. Yes. That's policy, which you're talking about. And we would see a policy-driven community or stakeholders who are saying, let us support health. And what is missing in this sector of health? Today, if I had a challenge, why this talk is very important, it is because there is too much silence and Ugandans are asleep. Religious leaders, I call upon you, even via this forum, let us be able to tackle this matter. And when we tackle them and we bring awareness to the government that something is missing, there can be something that can be done. Talk over all other television media houses, citizens. I do refer a point of this hospital which stalled for some years. Yes, Boa. So we would have seen a very energetic, energized community, all of us who are saying, no, we would get a special hospital. I may not have a chance to go to India. I may not have a chance to go to Kenya. But at least if our hospital is here, I can even facilitate my relative and myself. I can be able to know, if I had a challenge, this hospital can work on us. But it remained as if it's a political game. The members of parliament are going to visit Rubowa. They are stopped. You search on Google. And since then, silence. Why should there be silence? So I want to appeal to the citizenry that the wake-up call is not only for those who are in power, the MPs and the ministers. It is also to you citizens. We have slept too much, and some things have gone wrong, and we have not come to bring the attention of the president that we are very much concerned. And I think if we can always rise up and say, Mr. President, be these social, economic services, we are concerned citizens. If Uganda does not go back to that very principle and law, the supreme law principle, power belonging to you, and you exercise it directly and indirectly. The hospital, a lot of money was paid. You go to the report, Ruwa Hospital, specialized hospital. Many years, nothing is being done. So this should go across board. It is not only a matter of decentralization you've talked about, because the decentralization policy which I want to partly also hint on, it is there is a kind of decentralization policy in our country which withdrew power from the people. Yet it's supposed to be a transfer of power to the people, and it is vice versa. When it is the center which is determining the revenue and the resources to allocate to these decentralized entities, which is the local government, it will be difficult even to implement some of these projects. When the center is the one to determine who is corrupt, to be arrested or not to be arrested, you first allow, this is a Honorable Balam, is the one to discover the lot. This lot is supposed to be discovered at the district level by the office of the RDC. Basically, one of the role of the office of the RDC is an independent office under the president's office to make sure that any kind of conduct of corruption and a bit disrupting government programs is dealt with. It shouldn't have been Balam, Honorable Balam, to be the one to go and discover this. Where these are DCs?
But there are district public accounts committees that are also supposed to be doing the same thing. District service commissions that are supposed to be doing the same thing. That's the issue I'm talking about: decentralization and empowering systems rather than empowering people. We have empowered ministers and failed to empower systems that are supposed to handle these issues. That's where my question is: are we empowering people, or are we empowering a sustainable system that is going to solve issues that are affecting the people for a longer period of time?
So the host, you have it right, as you stated it. We should be able to empower the people. And that is institutional governance. Yes. Individuals whatsoever, whether you want it or not, you like it or not, individuals come and go. Yes. Individuals come and go. Even if it was a family, and still you have not built a family system, whereby you are the head of the family, yes, a very powerful one, and when you are no longer there, that you have one of your child, if not all of them, who can carry on, yes, a generation. That means you're already dead family. Your legacy, immediately when you die, to die. So I'm on that emphatic point that there should be a deliberate move to empower, yes, and to monitor that empowerment, whether it is done. The RDC's office, I again mentioned the RDC office, which is representing the president. Before the minister come, the RDC should have already done Sala work. Yes. Even should have even caused for action. The RDC can cause for action. Yes. You can cause for action and have the investigation and seek for a directive for an action to be done. You can seek for a directive from the district council, can seek for a directive from the line ministry, yes, and it is done. Okay. They are paid 1,000 per liters per kilometer every month.
What they are doing oversight work, so we are paying for their fuel.
Yeah, we pay for their fuel. So
they are supposed to do the work.
Yes, that's part of the empowerment. They are supposed to do the work, and they go ahead and give them their deputy. There is this four-wheel drive vehicle. That's the one I mean. They buy it fresh. They give them security, and now we first wait for the minister. RDC, today I'm on you. You need to wake up. It is not only just getting respect and honor. I'm RDC. Do work so that we can, Ugandans say, there is no reason why we should remove the RDC office.
But the institutionalization.
So that's the empowerment, yes, you are talking about.
But, when you are discussing the issue of institutions being able to do their work, there is also the issue of empowerment. First of all, giving them the power under the law, and then also giving them the power financially and autonomously, like separating them from hierarchy so that they can be able to deliver on the work. Has government done that? The
government has done it because the RDC is not paid directly from the budget of the district. The fuel is they call personal holder. Personal holder fuel cards. That's one. Two, the vehicles are directly given to them by the office of the president. Three, the salary does not come from the district. Yes. So the RDC is fully empowered, including with the security. Yes. Is fully empowered. We expect a lot from them. Other than that, we should maintain the office of the cow. And also maybe there is too much duplication. They find either the work they are doing either is done by these chief administrative officers, then we empower either one of them. And but both of them should be empowered. I would not desire that we could be having RDC deputy RDC, assistant RDC, because we also want to see efficiency.
Yes.
How resources, the monitoring of all these sectors, how resources should come from the hands of the few and go to the hands of the many, and utilize the ensuring that every month, call it quarterly reports, they indicate that we have achieved this. And also it will have the element of legislative reforms, where we will ensure that the budgetary system which deals with allocation of resources, the national resources, is deliberate, that these local governments will have this portion of percentage. Fiscal decentralization, I did the research on it. And the fiscal policy which is governing Uganda, it is too much centralized that determining what should go to the priorities, and the priorities at the local level is minimal. I told you I was in local government personally as assistant chief administrative officer. At a certain point, you could find that the chief administrative officer, basically the sub-county senior assistant secretaries, they are no longer having active work hands-on, not facilitated to do the work. But even what they have done, you find that the system to hold them accountable is not strict enough to ensure that the salary they get and the budget allocated to them is doing the right work.
Yes.
Now, if we are talking about, for instance, this PDM is one of the project and the program as well, which has many projects. And it faces challenges that cannot be resolved by the sub-counties. Recently, there's an MP who invited me to go as a consultant in Western Uganda. And you find some of the challenges even which can be quickly solved by the local leaders, it is being appealed to go and consult the center. So that is some of our interference in these policies and drawing this power from the locals, from the local authorities, which is the local government, and which dilutes the original meaning of decentralization. That's why in part of the current studies that I've held, and also the lectures that I do in part, I mean, when we're talking about decentralization, the federal decentralization, federal decentralization seems to be much more powerful because it empowers. Okay. It empowers the districts, empowers the regions. If one is found to be corrupt, they do have their bureaus, investigative bureaus, which are collaborate with the IGG. And that's why now you're talking about our IGGs, the IGGs at the regional level. Yes. If they enter into the matter, not take too much time and to play politics of bribery inside and someone interdicted, after 6 months, back to office. Then finally, Ugandans remain asking, was this just a game to play on our mind? What is it? So when these institutions are operational, the IGG at sub-regional level are empowered. We have investigative bureaus which may be under CID's offices, which collaborates with the IGG. The IGG, the constitution empowers them to take action. They act like a court. They can decide to investigate.
And also do away with the people.
And also do with the people. So we would be happy when we see work is going on and you don't first wait the IGG Kampala. The IGG, if it is empowered in the southwestern region, regional offices, maybe in Bunyoro, you talk about, this is Karamoja. IGG is working with what? With the office of the CID, which is an investigative bureau. And then the person is brought to come and defend yourself before the IGG office. And with the reports available, we shouldn't do the case log which has increased, especially in the judiciary, and this one can deal with these official things. Okay. This is a lot. You're supposed to spend 500 billion, and it is not complete. The money is not on account, and you are showing the records that what was paid is just 200 million. There's someone who began to speak money. You saw that kind of sharing of the record. That one should not take more time, okay, because the records are there and the road is there and you don't have anything to say. Where is the money? If the money is not there, then action.
I would have last two questions. One, I would the program you're giving or the incentive you're giving, especially when it comes to handling matters of administrative units, Balam was also, Honorable Balam was giving it that there should be committees that are created, especially within the local government and administrative units, to make sure that when matters are got, they're not taken to court, but they are handled at an administrative level, and some of these issues are handled without creating a backlog with the judiciary. So my question would be, do we now need an amendment in the law to create these committees? Because we have the District Service Commission that has been doing that, and people are complaining about the Service Commission. So should we look at different initial committees that will be handling issues of maybe misappropriation and all that, which in the law are only supposed to be taken to court procedures? Should we have an amendment in the Local Government Act to see that we are getting committees that are going to be handling administrative issues under local government or administrative units?
We have different laws. We need to use them, because alongside we have the Constitution, and then the IGG Act, then we also the Local Government Act. So the Supreme Law and the three laws, amidst other laws, talk about Public Finance Management Act. They should be enough to cause action. And I've said the existing administrative units, if they are used well, not to find that I've talked about the RDC office again. Yes. Not when the RDC office you're only looking at only social issues of a wife of so and so, separated from so and so, and maybe just so, land so and so. No, you deal with substantive issues. Okay. And again, that goes back to what we have talked about. Already the system is there. Yes. What is the role of the senior assistant secretary, the sub-county chief at the sub-county level, then a district? We have a public account committee. I am only appealing, maybe in response to what you've asked, that there should be orientation. Because what seems to be lacking in our country also is awareness. There should be awareness to know what is my responsibility. Thank you. Your responsibility, you have executed it. I'm here. Let everybody do his or her work, so that we can know you are a park at the district level, what action. And look for the work. Don't first wait to be reported for.
Yes.
Are things going on well? You are the RDC office, and together there is a team at that top level of executive. There's a DISO, District Security Officer. There's a resident, the RDC, the LCFL chairman, and the COW. So now the three personal holder officers. Why not now? Everyone, when they look into the law, it directs them what they should do. Yes. The regional IGG office. So we should now not again create another law for it. Okay. They should only work, use the existing law to deal with our situation. And only one amendment I could maybe recommend, it goes on our meager resources, which are spent much more on public administration, creating many administrative units, and we spend a lot of money on those administrative units, which can always lead us to go for borrowing. Yes, and for borrowing, you know, this national debt, which is also not a good.
Actually, you have laid foundation for my last question. My last question would be, how do you assess the administrative units that have been created? 176 districts, but then also the leadership of these districts. How do you assess the administrative units we have created as a nation, and how have they been impactful to the social development and access to service?
These administrative units, one of the unfortunate part, there's a fortunate part and unfortunate, is that they were created not following the legal procedures. They were created by political pronouncements. Yes. Yet they should have been created basing on the technical known procedures. In local government, before a local government is declared to be a municipality, there is a number which is set, a population, and they also consider the financial and economic feasibility, whether the income generated in that area can sustain that local government. So because of failing in these procedures, you know, we say in the Bible that when the foundation is weak, what can the righteous do? If we've not built a right foundation to create that unit, to know that we have planned, it's like you want to marry, you want to plan for a family, and your planning was poor. Always the results tends to also not be the best. So they have been not planned well, and the results seem to be competing with what went wrong. Yes. We had an issue of, I'm not just speculating here, we had an issue in Gulu, the Gulu city, the newly formed cities. For around 4 years, they were still trying to assess whether they have money to install street lights. By the time you say you're becoming a city, the criteria must be followed. What can lead an area to be declared as a city? And by the time the country decides to say you are now a city, then they should have assessed that we are now in a position to fund. You don't first form a city and then you go to look for funds.
Yeah.
You begin by planning, because that's planning, that we have planned for this and we allocate this, money is going to come out from this.
Okay.
And then finally you allocate. So when you allocate, you know that there is a plan between this period and this period, we will have achieved this, and then we don't go work for back and forth and back, but we find that we are going step by step, and that is what we call development.
Okay, we have been with Dr. Joseph Tindeva. I want to remind you we have a lunch hour at Victory Church in Ndeva from 1 p.m. to 2:15 with Pastor Teddy Nanzeri. The Isaac mandate is Friday, and it will be happening at 5 p.m. We are awakening the nation to serious repentance. That is the theme. And don't forget the Victory Special Service on Sunday, 23rd of August, 2026 at 3 p.m. Calvin Mahuz is my name. The show has been The Scorecard. Have a very beautiful day.